We'll call this meeting of the Silver City Town Council to order. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the first item on the agenda is the recognition of the work done by the members of the Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement Citizens Advisory Committee. The first lesson I learned is never give a committee such a long name. But I wanted to take tonight and give special recognition to all the members that have participated and really done a significant and very important job for the town over the last few years. The work that you've done will last forever in the town, and it was significant enough that it's really been brought into the town as part of our organization at this point, and I think that's very, very important. And I could go down a list of things that have been accomplished, as well as the setting of our plan going forward, but that's all available on the internet, so please read it. So at this time, I'm going to go down to the podium, and as I call your name, I have a certificate for each one of you, and on behalf of the council, we thank you, and just come up when I call your name. Christopher Aquino, Mary Beckworth, Jason Burke, Peter Burrows, Sam Costello, Cynthia Coleman, Alex Corandoni, Connie Downard, Frank Drysdale,
just a vote of confidence in Frank.
Sorry guys, I'm not commenting. Gary Edwards, Richard Earnhardt, James Goodkind, Shelby Hallmark.
I accept this for Frank Drysdale. Thank you very much.
You want to stay up here? All right. Okay. Jeffrey Hill, Deborah James. I thought I could. William Joseph, Deborah Kelly, Jim Kerstetter, Dr. Jim. Thank you. Kelly Kindig. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I knew this was going to happen. Cosette Laprouque. Probably didn't say it right, so it was close. Here, come up. Charmin Apt Russell. Gail Simmons. Allison Civic. Denise Smith. Thank you. John Song. Mary Stecker. Jill Steidel. Nick Cicillo.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Linda Thompson.
for your support on all of this. Great.
John Van Vig. And last but not least, Alex Brown. I don't get paid, so. Does anybody want to say a few words on behalf of the committee? Sorry, I'm going to move in a minute. I'm directing the show.
Sure, missed one, James. Or Mr. Mayor, you missed it. There's another thing on the calendar.
I'd encourage anybody else that would like to say something. Okay, with that introduction, I will start anew. I'd like to echo the mayor's words. Exciting things. We should all be proud, and I think that what we have done, in fact, is in initiating the Office of Sustainability lets us carry forward. And I would ask the mayor in turn if he wanted to say anything about passing of the torch from the Climate Committee to the office. I think that's very significant. As most of you know, I think, I know Alex and the mayor certainly do, I'll be coming another Jim Kerstetter. If I can be so bold as to say that, I'll be becoming a volunteer the 1st of October. To many of you, it will be transparent, and I look forward in that regard to working with Ricky and others as we go forward, and including the fire department with the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. But I'm tremendously proud of having worked with you, of what we've done together, and of what we might do together in the future. Thank you.
I'd just like to say that I think we've come a long ways, and when I first joined this committee, even saying the words climate change were a little scary to some people, and I think we finally got beyond that, which I'm thrilled. I would like to thank the mayor for all his support for everything that we tried to do. He was always there to back us. I really appreciate that, and I want to ask you to continue to support the Office of Sustainability so we can do more great things like this. Thank you.
Just so everybody's aware, Councilor Ray is out of town and was unable to arrange to be here tonight. And nobody signed up under public input, so we'll move down to council comments. Councilor Bettison, would you like to start?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to say that the dedication of the murals at Penny Park and at 12th Street Bridge of the MRAC Youth Mural Program were quite wonderful, and I want to thank every donor who provided funds and everyone who worked on them. Just want to thank all of them, and I really want to thank MRAC Youth Mural Program itself and its driving force, Diana Ingalls-Leba, for the incredible, beautiful murals by our youth that's throughout Silver City and Grant County. I mean, they really are, and I think they did 5 of them this year. Yeah, it was an amazing number that they actually completed this year with the help of so many groups that donated funds. So, and I think the second annual Clay Festival was really wonderful. There were a lot of visitors in town. Our museums were full, and the events and workshops were full and well attended. And I want to thank the creativity and driving force behind that. Lee Gruber, who's the director of the Clay Festival for a wonderful economic development event that centers around our heritage in clay and arts and culture. So, lastly, I want to thank my colleagues on the council for their endorsement of my candidacy for the position of Director at Large on the New Mexico Municipal League Board of Directors. Hopefully I will be fortunate enough to be elected back on the board. I've enjoyed working on the league board and being on the tax task force committee, which has a meeting coming up this Friday, and on a variety of other committees that I sit on. So I just want to thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cook?
No comments, sir.
Thank you. Councillor Moronis?
No comment, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anybody have any changes to the agenda?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Hearing none, the agenda is approved, and we'll move on to approval of minutes of the regular meeting of July 25th, 2013.
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor.
I move to approve the minutes of the regular town council meeting of July 25th, 2013.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of July 25th, 2013. Is there any discussion? There's a motion and a second, no discussion, to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Silver City Town Council, July 25th, 2013. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is under reports, and we have an update on Silver City deer management by Captain Ray Altonen, New Mexico Department of Game and Fish. You have the floor, sir.
Should we try this? Can you hear me?
Right.
And that's the magic button right there, right?
Magic button.
Okay. If you can hear me, Mayor, councilors, staff, appreciate the opportunity to come in to give you an update on what's been occurring since basically 2009 when we started this endeavor with public meetings on how to address the number of deer within Silver City. Through all the public meetings, all the change in rules, regulations, council meetings on your part, county, and our game commission, we finally put in place a 3-tiered plan to address some of the problems around Silver City with the number of deer. We started with a shoot and sell type program on properties that are private, where the landowners request us to come in with the number of deer, where we lethally remove the deer and sell them to the public. We've started with a trap and transplant operation that is being studied and monitored by New Mexico State University with a graduate student. And then the third program will start after January 16th of this year, will be an archery-only hunt on areas outside of Silver City, and all incorporated areas like Hurley and everything be outside of the city limits on private property with written permission for the archery hunters that were not successful on their regular hunt. They'll be able to harvest a doe for a 2-week period there to help us maintain that population. Just a quick update on what's occurred since we started the on-the-ground activity, which was last June of 2012. We've removed 172 deer, mainly from the Indian Hills country north of Silver City. 64 have been lethally removed by shooting on properties, again, with landowners that are having us come in where it is safe and reasonable to do so. All those deer have been sold except 1 or 2 that we were not able to find. So they have gone back to the public at a very cheap price. We've been working with Human Services to get a list from them of needy folks, and then once we run through that list, we're going through a list that there's plenty of people on there that we are able to sell these deer to. When I was last here on February 12th, I believe it was, of this year, we were going to start dropping the nets the next day, at which time we did, and we captured 110 deer within the week. We removed half of them up to the San Francisco River Valley up by Glenwood, and the other half went to the north end of the Palancios. We have 67 that are fitted with collars, either VHS or GPS. They're being monitored weekly, either by flights or on the ground, so we can check what our mortality rates, our survival rates, our movements are. And then also, as part of the second part of that program this year, we'll start looking at a soft release type operation where we'll see if we get a higher survival rate with keeping them in a large pen, feeding them for, letting them acclimate to the country, and then releasing them. Of the 67 callers that we have out on the ground, we've had 26 mortalities, 18 up in the San Francisco River area and 8 in the Peloncillo River area, or Peloncillo Mountain area. So we're monitoring that, trying to determine each cause of mortality, and we'll compare it to the soft release, see if we get higher survival, lower survival as part of the study and through there, and other ways to go through there. On top of that, we'll have the archery hunt this year to remove some of the females, so that'll be one that we'll be able to track through our mandatory harvest program, so we'll know how many hunters took one opportunity to partake in this hunt. These areas surrounding Silver City are undersubscribed for archery hunts, so we're still trying to encourage people to get in there and do that. So we'll see, one, if that is a viable way of maintaining a population, if we have any problems with that, and also know what our success rates are, because that was a huge change to some of our management philosophies in the state of New Mexico with harvesting does and everything, so that's something that we're looking at close as an agency also. None of the trapping has occurred in the city limits at this time, or town limits at this time, nor has any of the shooting. We'll look at that later on as we hit these outer areas where we have the large populations, larger land areas where we can put big nets, get fifth-wheel trailers in there with trucks and 20 people on the ground without causing too much commotion in through there. Again, the trap release and the trap areas are, again, with landowners in full cooperation that are requesting assistance on their properties and stuff. So we had a lot of cooperation. We had 4 to 5 different trap sites last year. We'll look to go back in there again this year, starting about January, February, March in there when we'll start our on-the-ground action again. We haven't taken any action since May 5th, I believe it was, of this year. May 15th, since last time we've done anything on the ground, letting the fawns hit the ground, bond with their parents and everything, and then we'll look after the hunting season. That's when we'll start taking on the ground action again and try to get another 170 or so in there. So, and we'll look to do this hopefully 4 or 5 more years. So,
Thank you.
Questions?
Any questions from the council? No, sir. So have you noticed any decrease in complaints or accidents?
Accidents, I was talking with the captain real fast because you had given us that question and we did not follow up on that, so I was checking with how their dispatch system is run. Since they had a CAD system, we should be able to go back and pull that data a little bit easier if we can get the parameters on the accidents. The accidents are hard to track for us because we always don't get the calls. City does it, other people drag them off, so that's going to be a tough one to do, but we should be able to get something from dispatch records on that. The amount of landowner complaints has been steady. We haven't seen an increase, decrease in that. Some of the ones that we can take action on right away, we've solved those problems by removing 10 deer from there, then they're happy, that stuff of that nature. But other complaints haven't been coming in because they're just watching the whole problem and program as it goes to see if it's still needed or not. But we'd have to get a little bit more specific on that. I'd have to pull our WCs on what we're opening up or not, but I know we're just going on the ground with the ones that we can right now. So,
thanks. Do you know on some of the other areas of the state that we're having similar issues? I know that Carlsbad was having a very similar issue. Are they doing a similar process, or?
There's one other trap operation that's going on in Arabella off of the Hondo Valley below to the east of Ruidoso at an orchard there that we did trap and relocate some deer there, and I've got the rough numbers if you give me 1 second to find it. We did that trap immediately before this when the crew came over here. They did 60 total captured. They collared 40. Those were released in the Chupadera Mesa where we've done some habitat work, and we've lost 25. So again, we're comparing different areas of the state, different habitats, work that's gone on, predator control that's gone on before and after to see how to maximize survival rates on some of this. Some of the other areas in states, they are having some lethal removal programs through depredation on alfalfa field, stuff of that nature, but it's not really being looked at in this sense with having a study going with graduate student or anything of that nature. But we're kind of the test program to see if this is, one, cost efficient, the best way to do it, and if we're getting the survival and stuff we need to make it worthwhile to see how to approach this. So it's, like I say, it's been an effort that's been going on since 2009, so we'll keep going forward and see what everything comes out with. So
So have your targets remained the same as far as numbers?
Yes. Yep, still looking to hopefully remove about 600 to 700 deer in through there, so.
And at that point, we would expect that the predator issue in town would also decrease?
That is one of the side benefits that we're hoping that does occur with the lions. The bears aren't necessarily attracted to the deer in the sense as maybe some of the feed that goes on with the feeding of the animals, but they're not as high of a predator on adult animals, on fawns they are. The bears, it's just been the drought that's been pushing them in and around. The hunting season on them will start up here in a couple weeks, so we expect those calls to dwindle once season starts. With the lions, we're kind of in line with what we've had the last 3 years on the number of calls and the sightings and verifications and stuff going on in Silver City. As we reduce this, because this herd, and again, this will not remove every deer around Silver City. We just can't do that. It's not feasible. This is something just to lower the population to where they're a little bit more manageable and a little bit more acceptable to a lot of the folks that are having issues, and also not make it as attractive to the predators, i.e. the mountain lions that are being seen. But that is in line with what we've been seeing in the last 2-3 years, so we haven't seen a decrease on that. We did harvest a couple of lions outside on the forest that we know through sport harvest and stuff, so hopefully removing some of those females and stuff will affect what occurs in town and stuff. But as long as we got a large number of deer, it's easy for them to come into the grocery store. So,
You know if one of those was the one hanging around the hospital?
yeah, we haven't had that call here in 6-7 months. So yes, so we're hoping so.
Thanks. Al?
I just want to let you know that the town has hired a contractor to pick up all the dead deer, whether it be from vehicle accident within the city limits.
Okay.
And as a requirement of that, the call has to go through dispatch.
Okay.
So they should be able to give you a good number as far as how many deer he's picked up for.
Is that Dennis Smith or Dennis, the wildlife rehabber and stuff? He was doing it before on a limited.
Skunk busters?
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So,
So
good.
we've got some good numbers for you there.
Okay. Good. That'll help us in town. We'll have to be tracking outside of town too as we hit that herd outside of town and in through there. So great. So we will have the people that call our office to call dispatch when it's in the town limits. So that'll save our officers a lot of time. So appreciate that. So.
Thank you, Rick.
All right. Thank you, folks. We'll see you 6 months after we do our trap operation and give you another update. All right.
Next is staff reports. Mr. Brown?
Mayor and Council, I was informed today, you know that P&M, they were putting out $300,000 in awards with nonprofits for projects around the state. I was notified today that there was 4 within Grant County. 2 of them are projects that the town is partnering with different groups with. One is with the food bank, and the other is with, I believe, 4-H. They're working on a vegetation project at Penny Park with our staff. We also were notified that we've got funding for some sidewalks and a wall there on at El Grito, Head Start, up on Cooper. So both of those we were notified today, and just so you know. Okay.
No other department heads. Next on the agenda is a public hearing entitled Approval Disapproval of Resolution Number 2013-30, a resolution for street vacation number SV 13-01 to vacate part of the 31st Street right-of-way lying adjacent to Lot 1, Block 8 of Brown's Addition Number 2, comprising 385 square feet, or 0.009 plus or minus acres, requested by owners Hal and Ollie Sontag. The council will serve as the hearing board, and I, as mayor, will be the presiding officer. Have any members of this hearing board had ex parte discussion with any person regarding the subject matter of this hearing, or had any communication from any party to this case?
No, sir.
Hearing none, you're all qualified. Will all parties and witnesses intending to testify, including those staff members who intend to present testimony or who will be available for questioning, please rise and come to the podium to be sworn in by the town clerk. If you have not been sworn, you will not be permitted to testify or otherwise participate in this hearing.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jay Smith,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that the testimony I'm about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
in the matter before this council
in the matter before this council
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
under penalty of perjury.
under penalty of perjury. Do you start?
The hearing will be conducted as follows. The town staff shall present a brief synopsis of the application or based on the application or actions taken by the director, by P&Z Commission, or by town staff. Then the applicant shall present their case. Next will come witnesses in support of applicant's case. The applicant, staff, or witnesses may then be questioned by the hearing board. The presiding officer will then ask the applicant if that concludes its case in chief and states that the proponent and its witnesses will remain available to be further questioned by the hearing board, by staff, or by opponents to the application. Following the close of the applicant's case, witnesses in opposition to the applicant's case shall be permitted to testify, during the course of which the witness may address questions to any previous witness, but such questions shall be made through the presiding officer. The presiding officer shall have the sole discretion in directing the question for response, considering whether the question is relevant, is cumulative to other testimony, or is otherwise inappropriate. At the close of testimony against the application, the presiding officer asks the applicant, is there anything else you wish to be reflected in the record? And then the council will make a decision. Jamie, Jim? It's Jamie's?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilors. A little background as the projector warms up. Normally, an encroachment permit would be given in this case, but the property owner is trying to sell their property, and the lender would not accept either a letter from the community development director or an encroachment permit. And so that's why we've proceeded in this manner. Normally, it would be an encroachment permit. This is case Street Vacation 1301. The property is addressed as 3001 Mann Drive, and Hal and Ollie Sontag are the owners. They will be represented tonight by Becky Smith. She is their realtor. You have a survey in your packet that shows the property. These are the two structures that encroach. There is a greenhouse on the right of the screen and a garage on the left. These, as far as we can tell, were in existence when the Sontags purchased the property in 1978. This is the sidewalk on 31st Street. You'll notice that it is already in place up to the structures, and the only department that had a comment was Peter Pena, the Public Works Director. He stated that where the drive pad would be for the garage, if they continue the sidewalk up 31st Street, it would be need to be reconstructed. So if you'd like to make that a condition of your acceptance, that would be acceptable to the applicant and to the town. This is standing at the greenhouse looking down 31st Street. You'll see there's curb, gutter, and sidewalk already up to that area. This is a better picture of the drive pad. You'll see that it would need to be removed and reconstructed, and it also shows you where the sidewalk does end on 31st Street currently. According to Section 6.3.17 of the Land Use Code, a vacation of town street right-of-way by the town allows the applicant to purchase and have full use and ownership of the property. In this case, the sidewalk is already in place, and the vacation would not hamper future efforts by the town for pedestrian accessibility. In this case, there are criteria instead of findings that have to be met to approve it. And the first one is the street right-of-way is located within the municipal limits of the town and is dedicated to and maintained by the town. Number two, The requested vacation conforms to the town's comprehensive plan, the land use code, and any relevant policies adopted by the town. 3, the proposed vacation does not endanger the health, safety, or general welfare of the community. And 4, the town has no current or future need for the street right-of-way proposed for vacation. It is the recommendation of the Community Development Department that this street vacation may be approved based on the required criteria. We've also met with the town manager and Peter Pena and the utilities director, and because the sidewalk is already in, it wouldn't hamper any pedestrian accessibility, and that's where the condition of removing the drive pad comes in, if you would like to make that a condition of approval. The property has been appraised. That's included in your packet also, and it has a market value of $1,720, which would be paid by the Sontags with the closing, and they also provided the survey and paid for the appraisal, and will pay the closing costs. Would you like me to change it back to the picture if you have any questions?
Any questions? Councillor Edison.
Yes, ma'am.
If you could go back to the photograph of the drive pad? Yes. So is it removal or reconstruction of the drive pad if the town continues the sidewalk?
It would probably be some of both. You'll see.
It'd be reconstruction, though.
Right.
Okay, because
So that they could
just
still-
clarifying the difference between two statements you made.
Yes.
Okay.
They would have to remove it and or modify it so that the sidewalk could be in place. It's the bump up to the garage.
Right there?
Yes.
Okay.
So they may be able to use parts of it that are there, but they would definitely have to remove that step up.
Okay.
The ramp is actually sitting on top of the sidewalk, right?
That's what it looks like.
Yes.
Any
So,
other-
yeah, it does look like it.
Yes.
And that little wall type thing is sitting on top of the sidewalk too, it
Yes.
appears. Okay, I'll reserve my next question for the other witness.
Any other questions?
Would you like me to leave any of the photos up while the applicant presents their case for reference?
You want to just get comfortable there, and
Okay.
if Becky wants to show some pictures, you'll be handy.
Okay.
Next will come the applicant. Sure. Did you want to present the case, Becky? Did you want to present the case for the applicant?
Yes, so I don't have very much to add from what Jamie said, other than it's been a long process, and I really appreciate the help of Alex and Jamie and everybody that's guided us through this kind of labyrinth. But yes, basically, originally I thought that the Sontags had made the kind of error of building this garage the way it was, but I recently found out that it was there when they bought the property in '78, and I think this is a case of GPS surveying kind of trumping the old style of surveying, where the block wall that is kind of the holding up their yard and looks like the logical boundary of their property. I think they always assumed it was, and the owner before them assumed that was their property boundary, and it was before anyone required surveys for sales. So anyway, I think that's how this all came to pass. People were assuming that that was their boundary, and maybe it was originally. But anyway, new GPS surveys have shown that the city now owns 3 feet of their yard, and so they were just hoping to leave the greenhouse intact because it's full of plants that are both in the greenhouse and in the ground, and the garage has been there all this time. So anyway, to reiterate Jamie's the criteria, the property is in the city limits. The street vacation does meet with the comprehensive plan because the sidewalks and the curbs and gutters are already in. There's no public endangerment in getting rid of this 3 feet, and the city doesn't have, I don't believe, any other need for this 3 feet of their yard now or in the future. And the street is plenty wide. Peter looked at it in the beginning and just said, yeah, there's plenty of room to do anything we'd ever need to do. So, in a nutshell.
Thank you. Any witnesses in support of the application? Any witnesses in opposition to the application? Are there any questions for any of the witnesses? Councilor Bedison.
So, Becky, my understanding is that it's acceptable to, I guess, the Sontags and everything that, or at least that this condition be placed on it, that the drive pad would need to be removed and reconstructed if the town was to, when the town at some future date continues the sidewalk up 31st.
I don't think anyone would object to that.
Or, I'm sorry, it's 31st Street, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that contingency or that condition is, it's actually a condition.
Yeah,
But that's acceptable to the...
I think so. You know, the people, the bottom line of who we're trying to please here actually is the lender for the buyer. I mean, that's why we're having to go through this, because the lender requires clear title of the lot and on the ground underneath the lot. And that's the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous, is if we put any kind of contingency in there, the lender will probably say, well, then you have to do it right now. So, because lenders only think in terms of worst case scenario when they get the house back someday if the loan defaults. And, you know, if you're asking for it now, they'll probably presume that it should be done right now so that they never have to do it. Will be their... So I'm sure the buyer is agreeable. I don't think there's any problem in that regard. I'm just trying to figure out how to, you know, word it or not word it so that we don't have to jump through anything.
What's past that?
There's nothing
There are, if you'll look back there, the street turns to dirt right after that. The street isn't improved right over the hill there, and there's no sidewalk. There's a couple of homes, but the street doesn't go anywhere else. That's pretty much the end of the street, is right over that hill.
Okay. Councilor Moronis.
I have a picture in here of the neighbors within 300 feet that were notified, and that'll also show you where 31st Street ends, because it has the circle around it. Was that... Let's see. I may have an aerial photo if you'd like while you answer his question, and I can give that to you also so you can see where it ends.
Yeah, I think it's important on whether we actually put that condition or not.
Okay. In the appraisal, there is the, it's toward the back, it's a subdivision plat, and it shows the subject property, and you'll see where 31st Street ends there. I believe that's the tail end of Royal Drive.
Is this you're looking?
It looks like this. It's in the appraisal. It's toward the back. There's 19 pages, and it looks like it's about page 15 of your appraisal. And this is what it looks like. And you'll see that this is the subject property. This is 31st Street, and that's where it ends right there. There's one more lot after this property on 31st Street.
Councilor Morone says.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When we're vacating past the behind the sidewalk, is that correct? Like the sidewalk is still going to be part of our right-of-way?
Yes, on the survey.
And just so if the sidewalk's still in our right-of-way, that's still in our right-of-way. So even without the condition, we can still do that later. That's not actually part of the vacation, if I'm. Or am I mistaken?
It's confusing. On the survey, you'll see that the south edge of the piece they're purchasing touches the sidewalk, and it proceeds north.
What page are you on, Jamie?
It's on the vacation survey plat. Ms. Cook just had it. You'll see that it's It touches the sidewalk on the south side, and it goes north into the garage and greenhouse. So you'll see that the sidewalk area is still remaining with the town.
Okay, so the sidewalk's still with the town, so...
Yes, sir.
We'll still base, and which, that ramp is on the sidewalk, so...
Yes, sir, and you'll
At
also...
any time, we could probably have them take that out, even without putting this condition on.
Yes, and you'll also see that on the survey, it shows where the sidewalk ends, which is on the west side of the garage. And so you'll see that there's still room in the retained part of the property for the town to build that sidewalk.
Perfect.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Yes.
Does that conclude your case? Any other testimony you want to present?
If you have no other questions. We had no objections or no neighborhood concern or anything like that.
Does any member of the hearing board have any questions for any witness?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Is the hearing board prepared to consider this application and render its decision?
Yes, sir.
Entertain a motion. Councilor Bedison.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 2013-30, a resolution for street vacation number SV 13-01 to vacate a part of the 31st Street right-of-way lying adjacent to Lot 1, Block 8 of Brown's Addition Number 2, comprising 385 square feet or 0.009 plus minus acre, requested by owners Hal and Ali Sontag. Based on the criteria, do I need to read all these into the record? Or is it going to just say 1 through 4? Based on all the criteria, finding 1 through 4.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2013-30, a resolution for street vacation number SB 13-01 to vacate part of the 31st Street right-of-way lying adjacent to Lot 1, Block 8 of Brown's Addition Number 2, comprising 385 square feet or 0.009 plus or minus acre, requested by owners Hal and Ali Sontag, with finding that all 4 criteria have been met. Roll call.
Councilor Benson?
Aye.
Councilor Cook?
Aye.
Councilor Rhodes?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. The next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of ordinance number 1223, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 2, Election, Section 2-53 and 2-29 of the Municipal Code of the Town of Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico. And this is basically an ordinance that allows us in uncontested races to have a single polling place when there's uncontested and no questions on the ballot. And this is a final reading on this ordinance. Ann, did you want to comment?
This ordinance will allow us to comply with the state municipal election code. Our sections 2-53 and 229 are slightly different than the state election code. 2-53, the way we currently have, says that we have to have a single polling place in each district. But the state's municipal election code says if there's an election such as we had this past March, where there's only one candidate per office and there's no questions on the ballot, it would allow the clerk to designate one polling place, which is favorable. So we'd like to meet that same, I'll use the word criteria, that sounds like a good word tonight. We'll meet that same thing that the state election code has. Right now, we always put a polling place at every district. So, and we'll continue to do that unless we had a situation like last March where there's just one candidate for each office, and no write-ins and no questions. The second section is tied results. Our section, the state's election code says the same thing, it's just simplified compared to ours, so we're just changing ours to meet the state's, to read the same way, where they have a drawing by lot if there's a tied vote. The candidates would decide how to draw by lot. So it's a simpler wording than the way our current code has it.
No more duels at sunset. Thank you, Ann. Anybody from the audience want to comment on ordinance number 1223? Hearing none. Any comments from the council or motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Bedison.
I move to approve ordinance number 1223, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 2, Elections, Section 2-53 and 2-29 of the Municipal Code of the Town of Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none.
No more duels at sunset.
Hearing no adult discussion.
You started it.
There's a motion and a second, no discussion, to approve ordinance number 1223, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 2, Elections, Section 2-53 and 2-29 of the Municipal Code of the Town of Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico. Roll call, please.
Councilor Madison?
Aye.
Councilor Cook?
Aye.
Councilor Morales?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of 2 public celebration permit applications for the 9th annual Gila River Festival's Gala for the Gila event on September 21st, 2013, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Murray Hotel Ballroom, 200 West Broadway, Silver City, New Mexico. License holders Little Toad Creek Distillery, number 63004, and Little Toad Creek Brewery, number 67021, at 1122 Highway 35, Members, New Mexico. Allison.
Yes, good evening. I'm Allison Civic, Executive Director of the Gila Conservation Coalition, and I'm here tonight to request the Town Council's approval for those 2 public celebration permits. But let me first tell you a little bit about the Gila River Festival. We're in the 9th year of this annual festival. This year's theme is called The Gila River is in Our Hands, and it will be held September 19th through the 22nd. And this festival is one of the Southwest's premier nature festivals, and it attracts an audience of nature lovers and outdoor enthusiasts eager to learn about and experience the Gila's natural wonders. And this year, folks will enjoy a variety of expert guided field trips. We've got kayak trips. We've got keynote speech by Kenneth Brower. We've also got Dr. Tom Swetnam from University of Arizona who's coming to talk to us about climate change and films about New Mexico rivers, so it's a really great event, and we're really proud to be able to bring this festival every year to Silver City. Now, the reason why I'm here is tonight is we're having a new event this year called Gala for the Gila, which will take place Saturday evening, September 21st from 7 to 10 p.m. in the Murray Hotel Ballroom. And this will be a fundraiser dance and include a silent auction and live music by the Roadrunners. And we have Little Toad Creek that will be providing beer from their brewery, and the Little Toad Creek Distillery, which will be providing spirits, and it'll be a cash bar, No one under 21 is permitted to enter this event. And then, so we've got 2 copies of the application here, and then also we did attach a map showing that the Murray Hotel is not within 300 feet of a church or school per New Mexico statutes annotated 60-68-10. And so we respectfully request the council's approval of these 2 celebration permit applications.
Anybody from the audience want to comment on the applications? Seeing none, council?
Mr. Mayor,
Council.
I move for approval of 2 public celebration permit applications for the 9th Annual Gila River Festival's Gala for the Gila event on September 21st, 2013, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Murray Hotel Ballroom, 200 West Broadway, Silver City, New Mexico. License holders Little Toad Creek Distillery, number 63004, and Little Toad Creek Brewery, number 67021. Address 1122, Highway 35, Members, New Mexico.
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
There's a motion, a second to approve. Is there any discussion? There's a motion, a second to approve 2 public celebration permit applications for the 9th Annual Gila River Festival's Gala for the Gila event on September 21st, 2013, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Murray Hotel Ballroom, 200 West Broadway, Silver City, New Mexico. License holders Little Toad Creek Distillery, number 63004, and Little Toad Creek Brewery, number 67021, with their address 1122 Highway 35, Members, New Mexico. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck with your event.
Can I leave some brochures with Ann to distribute to you all? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Allison. Next on the agenda is approval, disapproval of resolution number 2013-31, ratifying a certain agreement between the town and Southwest New Mexico Council of Governments for fiscal year 2013-2014. Mr. Brown?
This is the resolution, the annual resolution that we get that's required by the state for us to enter into an agreement for services that are provided to us from the Council of Governments, and it's also required so that we can designate the voting members, the voting member and alternates. So I mean, the Council of Governments provides countless amount of services to the town and other governmental agencies throughout the Southwest. So it's my recommendation that we enter into this agreement.
And the designees?
Well, I'm the vice chair, so I recommend that I be the designee. Last year, Councilor Bedison was one of the alternates, and then Peter Pena was the third alternate, because he is the chair of the RPO, which is a subgroup of the Council of Governments.
Any discussion from the audience on this agreement? Seeing none, council?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Bedison.
I move to approve resolution number 2013-31, ratifying a certain agreement between the town and Southwest New Mexico Council of Governments for fiscal year 2013-2014, designating Town Manager Alex Brown as the public official to be the member of the Southwest New Mexico Council of Governments, Councilor Cynthia Ann Bedison as alternate 1, and Peter Pena as alternate 2. Is that correct?
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2013-31. Any discussion? They're not here, so I don't really have to say anything good about them unless they're going to watch us on TV, but they really do provide a great service to the town, and the amount of the contract it's almost unreal. So There's a motion and a second, no further discussion, to approve resolution number 2013-31, ratifying a certain agreement between the town and Southwest New Mexico Council of Governments for fiscal year 2013-14, designating town manager Alex Brown as the public official member of the Southwest New Mexico Council of Governments, with Councilor Cynthia Ann Bettison as alternate number 1 and Mr. Peter Pena as alternate number 2. Roll call, please.
Councilor Edison?
Aye.
Councilor Cook?
Aye.
Councilor Morovis?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of bid number 13/14-1, Santa Rita Street Drainage and Roadway Improvements. Mr. Brown.
Mayor and Council, this is for bid, for the current bid. We received 5 bids. The lowest bid was Burns Construction for a total of $130,629.60 without gross receipts taxes. The grant is a co-op grant, which was awarded to the town in the amount of $72,000, and plus the match that was budgeted was approximately $102,000. So it's staff's recommendation that we award the base bid to Burns Construction for $113,113. I have reviewed the budget and have found the additional funds that can be diverted to the project so that we can complete it. It is Santa Rita Street. It would be the paving along Santa Rita Street between Penny Park and the school right there. You would really consider a parking lot, but it's still a designated street. So it's for that street, and then if we're able to, I still would be able to change order in additive alternate 1, because it is within the 10% change order requirements for state procurement, and that would be the sidewalks along that area. If we would only do that if we could find the additional funds.
Any discussion? Just a couple of comments. One is, today's the 13th, and the bid is $113,000.
Didn't even see that.
Drive safely, people.
Yeah, excuse me.
The other question I had is, we just see the aggregate bid of the other bidders on our form.
Do we have that? Yeah.
Are they still, if you just award the base bid, are they still going to be over 10% less than the local bidders?
The local bid is 5%, and yes, they would be under the 5% requirement for the local bid.
Any other discussion?
No, sir.
Come on up.
I just have a question. If you intend to include the sidewalks, will they meet the walkability standards and the pedestrian standards?
Yes, they would have to. They are engineered, the current design, the entire project is designed to include the road, the sidewalk. The second additive alternate is actually a sidewalk between the skate park and the drainage right there between Santa Rita Street and Highway 180. So it's an additional walkway there. But the entire project is designed already, and everything had to be designed appropriate to ADA.
Thanks, Gary. Boy, you barely got in before we ran out of things to talk about. Thanks for coming tonight. Any other discussion?
Yes.
Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Cook.
I move to approve the bid number 13/14-1, Santa Rita Street Drainage and Roadway Improvements. Do I need to read all this too? Yes.
You say to Burn Construction. Base bid.
To Burn Construction, base bid, $113,113. A lot of 13s there. Additive number 1, $9,717.60. I got to go backwards.
No, just the base bid.
Oh, just the base bid only. $113,113. 113. How do you say that?
$113,113.
And
Plus-
0 cents.
Plus gross receipts.
Plus gross receipts comes to 130,000. No, forget that.
We don't know.
We don't know what the total is.
Okay.
That's the total with the two added.
That 113 again.
We're going to say it till we get it right.
113,000.
Okay, there is a motion. Is there a second?
I second the motion as stated. Sorry.
I'm going to try to repeat it here in a
We're still
second.
trying to talk about it.
There is a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? There's a motion and a second, no discussion, to approve bid number 13/14-1, Santa Rita Street Drainage and Roadway Improvement, awarding to Burn Construction Incorporated the base bid of $113,113.00 plus gross receipts. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I second the motion as stated.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.